You don't see Jesus in your life, but why? It's a problem of recognition, isn't it? We are too busy or distracted. Why are we too busy to notice Jesus in our lives? Because we are focusing on things of the world and giving them immediacy and importance in our lives. The two disciples on the road to Emmaus were focused on their goal, to get home before dark. The problem with distraction and busyness is that we miss out on the important things in life, the kids growing up, the needs of our spouse, our own health and well-being, and we don't see or acknowledge Jesus working in our daily lives. We aren't looking for Jesus, are we? There is a story of a man who was late to work because he went to his child's first day of school on September 11th, 2001. He wasn't at his desk in the Twin Towers in New York when the buildings came down. Was that luck or the work of God? How many times should we have said, "Thank you, God"? Isn't it amazing how many times God blesses us and we fail to recognize the blessing or thank Him for the blessing? Why weren't they looking for Jesus? The women who went to the tomb that morning didn't find his body, but instead discovered two angels who told them to go to the apostles and tell them that Jesus was alive. Their report was corroborated by our friends who went to the tomb and found everything exactly as the women had reported. Jesus had promised that he would rise on the third day, but because of the travelers' humanity and human understanding, they couldn't bring themselves to believe that anyone could actually rise from the dead. Their humanity blinded them from seeing what stood before them, Jesus. When things go wrong, we have a way of quickly blaming God for all the bad things that happen and overlooking all the good He does for us as we journey down the path toward our eternal home with He and His Father. When life goes well, we tend to take credit for our wise decisions rather than to give credit where credit belongs, with God. After all, who gave you the knowledge and willingness to make the decisions you did? The two on the road were followers of Jesus, but their faith was weak, and the ways of the world were strong within them. Think back over your life and recall the many times God has protected, blessed, and cared for you. Faith is a question of attitude. If you focus on worldly beliefs, you will come to think only in worldly terms. After Jesus helped their understanding of faith by quoting and explaining the scriptures to them, was their faith strengthened, and the curtain of Christianity was drawn back to expose Jesus Himself. Like our travelers, once you grow in faith and understanding, your attitude will never become defensive, discouraged, or depressed, because your goal will be to please the Father rather than to achieve your own agenda. Our traveler's agenda was entirely earthly. Reach the village, but their earthly goals blinded them to the blessing that stood before them.